And I am live. Hi, my name is Tyriece Simon, writing solo today, and this is MMA Renegade Podcast, episode 9. Elijah was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, he had family obligation he had to attend to, so he'll be missing out today, but he'll be back next week. But yeah, man, I'm here. We're going to be covering UFC Vegas 29. We're going to be covering a little bit of boxing as well. So definitely a lot to cover. Also some small news here and there sprinkled in. Um, actually, it's been a slow news week for MMA. It's been pretty slow. Um, you know, other than the big announcement of AJ McKee versus versus Pitbull. Other than that, it's been pretty much a slow news week. But nonetheless, I am here to give you guys a show. Before I get any further, I'd like to say, subscribe, share, like, let us know what you think as well. Um, and Also join our Discord. Join our Discord. I put the Discord in the description. Um, Especially with another 2 or 3 weeks, we got Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3 in the Discord. I'll be doing a watch along, so you guys can join me, join Elijah, and we'll be watching the UFC pay per view together, as we talk about it. So we can't show the actual pay per view, but we could watch it with you guys and talk about it with you guys, and you get our instant reactions to what's going on. So that's something to look forward to, and also it's a great way for us to communicate. Great way for us to you know, discuss MMA matchups coming up, discuss MMA thoughts, um, share things about ourselves, um, and also if you like to be on the show, it's a great way to be on the show is to go to Discord, and then you could direct message me, and that way I could plan ahead of you wanting to join the show. So, uh, that Discord, great place, great. I'm trying to create a great environment for MMA fans, and so I hope you guys join. All right, not gonna waste too much time. It is 10:12 in the morning in New York right now. I'm be honest with you guys, I am dumb tired. I am dumb tired. I didn't go to sleep till about 3 o'clock in the morning, um, and mostly because of MMA and boxing. But yeah, I did not get much sleep. So, but I'm still here. I'm still here with you guys, and I can't wait to talk about all that what happened. So let's get into UFC Vegas 29 first. So UFC Vegas 29 took place in the UFC Apex Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. The main event featured Chan Sung Jung versus Dan Ige. I believe Chan Sung Jung was ranked number 4. I believe he was ranked number 4. Dan Ige was ranked number 8. Um, the fight played out kind of what I expected. I had Chan Sung Jung winning the fight. Um, I thought it was going to be by TKO. But Dan Ige showed how tough he is. He took a bunch of shots early on, but a touch of clean shots. Um, and I thought the theme of this fight was Chan Sung Jung able to pull from his experience and just was able to be one step ahead. Like I thought Dan Ige was technical, just as technical, but Dan Ige was tough. It just stood and took some of the shots from Chan Sung Jung, even though he got dropped in the first round. From then on, he took a bunch of shots from Chan Sung Jung and gave him right back to him. I thought Chan Sung Jung had a great game plan of grappling, which we rarely see Chan Sung Jung grapple at all. He was able to show that. I think the last time he grappled was a fight in 2015, I believe. Luke Thomas has tweeted that out, though. It was 2015 was the last time we've seen Chan Sung Jung use any grappling, which is interesting. For the people watching, thank you. We appreciate you. Let's let you know what you thought of UFC Vegas 29 and the Korean Zombie win. And yeah, Chan Sung Jung uses grappling, which was impressive. Um, I think he realized that he's not going to be able to get Danny out of there. So let's mix it up. Use our grappling to try to stay in this fight because I thought Dan Ige was coming back, and I thought for round 2, 3, 4. I thought it was getting very, very even, and Chan Sung Jung would do just enough in order to beat Dan Ige as those rounds out. And then by round 5, Dan Ige needed to finish. I thought Dan Ige came on strong and towards the end. It was just Chan Sung Jung was just a little bit better, and was able to get the win. So that was a great win for Chan Sung Jung, which I think he's at 34 years old. So I tweeted out after the fight. I was like, it was a great win for Chan Sung Jung, but I predict, and this is my prediction right now. I predict that Chan Sung Jung will either drop out of the rankings, or he'll be in, or maybe the bottom 10, maybe going toward the top 15, and then within the next 2 years. The reason why I say that is, one, he's getting older. 2, I think the level of competition in the featherweight division is just growing and growing and growing. And Dan Ige is still going to be a contender. I think he may get a rematch at one point. I think there's contenders coming up in the rankings that are just as technical, just as savvy, just as well-rounded to make things difficult for Chan Sung Jung, who is going to get older. And, I wonder how Chan Sung Jung is going to do against these other guys like a Dan Ige that are well-rounded, that can be technical, just as technical as him, and could withstand the power of Chan Sung Jung. The thing about Chan Sung Jung is his power, his ability to walk you down and to take punishment. I don't know if Chan Sung Jung can do that getting older against these younger, up-and-coming hungry guys. So it remains to be seen, but that's my prediction. I think Chan Sung Jung's probably going to be within the next 2 years, either outside of the rankings, or maybe near the bottom of the top 10, maybe closer to the top 15. So that's my prediction of Chan Sung Jung, but good win for him. And while I say that he within that next 2 years, that may be the case, I think the UFC should strike while it's hot and maybe go for Chan Sung Jung versus a Max Holloway. Do that fight. Do that. That'll be a big main event fight you could have on ABC television, on Channel 7, and you could do a big main event between Chan Sung Jung and Max Holloway, 2 fighters that have never fought before, 2 fighters that stylistically match up pretty well. Chan Sung Jung has power. Max Holloway, he's more precision and accuracy than he is power, but he'll light you up. And can Chan Sung Jung, at 34 years old, or however old he'll be if the fight was to happen, when it's to happen, can Chan Sung Jung keep those strikes? Because Max Holloway cardio is not going to stop. Korean Zombie did look a little bit tired going towards the later rounds, but he still cut it together. Still was able to mix things up and edge out the rounds. So it'll be an interesting matchup. It'll be to see Max Holloway versus Chan Sung Jung, and if you could put that fight on the ABC, and I think it'll do big numbers, or ESPN. So that's the next fight. I'd rather see Max Holloway fight Chan Sung Jung than fight Yair Rodriguez, and then whenever that could fight the champion at featherweight. That'd be a great fight. And for Dan Ige, man, Dan Ige is still in there. Dan Ige is still in there. I thought he looked good. I thought Chan Sung Jung was just a little bit better. Technically, I thought Dan Ige was savvy. I like that he went to the body towards the later rounds. He went to the body, and by going to the body, he's able to find Chan Sung Jung's head a little bit more, and mix it up. I thought he caught Chan Sung Jung a couple of times, and Chan Sung Jung uses grappling to withstand it. But I think if it kept staying on the feet, I thought Dan Ige was going to find his way, and possibly could have caused some trouble for Chan Sung Jung. But again, Chan Sung Jung mixed it up well. For Dan Ige, man, listen, he's still in there. Maybe you do him versus a Edson Barboza again. I think they fought before. Maybe do that again. If not, maybe you do a Josh Emmett. You got Arnold Allen there. You got a bunch of fighters at featherweight that are trying to go up the ranking. So, yeah, I think Danny got a bunch of great opponents he has lined up for himself. And I think he can still be a contender. He can still go right back up and fight somebody in the top 5. I think he's that good. Nothing to be ashamed of for Danny. I thought he looked good. I just think that Chancellor Young was a little bit better, just a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see what Danny goes from here. But I think he still has a lot of great fights lined up for himself. Moving on. Co-main event, we saw Sergey Spivak versus Alexei Olenek. This was interesting to me because I thought Sergey was going to have a better chance at standing up early on, and then I thought Olenek, his only chance of winning would be on the ground and trying to go for a submission. For the first part of the fight, it was Olenek that was giving him the business on the feet, and then it was Sergey that got Olenek to the ground off his back. I think Olenek pulled guard, and when people were saying for him to stand up and everything like that, he for the most part of that round 2, he was giving Olenek the business. He was able to hold his own, so that was interesting to see. But in the third round, Sergey went in there and did what he's supposed to do, what I thought he was going to do at the beginning of the fight, and pretty much just take care of Olenek on the feet and continue the decision win. So Sergey will probably move into the top 15. Olenek will probably be phased out of the top 15. But I would still like seeing Olenek fight. I still like seeing him compete at heavyweight. So I hope the UFC continue to give him more fights. Maybe give him one more fight before the end of the year. It's always entertaining to see, and always curious to see what he pulls out. Marlon Vera versus Davy Grant. This one was a really good fight. And maybe one fight of the night. Marlon Vera, Davy Grant beat Marlon Vera in the first matchup, and now Marlon Vera beat Davy Grant in this matchup, and now I want to see a trilogy. It's crazy because Marlon Vera is probably going to move up to somebody within the top 10 and try to make his way toward title contention. But if I'm being completely honest, man, I would love to see these dudes get rematched up quickly, and maybe even main event a fight night. I thought they were that good. They were that entertaining. They're both just really gritty, really tough, technical. Davy Grant was throwing heat early on. It was trying to take Marlon Vera's head off. And Marlon Vera was able to withstand it. Defense was really good. Kept it up here, and when Davy Grant was trying to look the shot, try to cover as best as he could. Because Davy Grant was the one heat. He was trying to take his head off. But man, Marlon Vera is just tough. He's just tough, and he just wore on Davy Grant. Is able to. I think one of the best things, and the highlight of the fight was in the clinch in these small. I don't know what the clinch, because they weren't even. There was like this in front of each other. We're getting ready to count each other, and Marlon Vera does a great job of using his elbow, and I don't think I've ever seen, well, I rarely see this done, where he's going like this. He's going like this and split open Davy Grant's head, and then from there, it seemed like the momentum went right into the favor of Marlon Vera, and I thought Marlon Vera did a great job of withstanding the first round, because the first round was looking a little bit dicey for Marlon. He wasn't caught or like he wasn't. I didn't see him stagger, but you can see the power of Davy Grant. You can see him kind of taking over and imposing his will on Chito Vera, and Chito Vera was able to come out strong in the second round, push the pace, cut him open with that elbow, and then from there, I really thought the momentum swung more into Vera's favor, and then Vera started to do business. I thought he won round 2, and then round 3, I thought he clearly won. Maybe he even got a 10-8 for that round. So good job for Marlon Vera, who now I would assume would face somebody within the top 10. I think he's growing his name. He performs well. He had that loss to Jose Aldo, but that's nothing to hang your hat on. Jose Aldo, um, hold your head. That Jose Aldo is a tough opponent, former world champion, and I think Chito Vera is going to get another shot at the top 10, which he should. Really good performance for him. Other fights on the card: Sung Hoo Choi defeated Juliana Rosa. Dude, I think this is somebody you should look out for in the featherweight division, man. He is really good, really good. Defeated him with I think with a left hook, I believe, and then able to stop Juliana Rosa. Juliana Rosa is tough, but maybe too tough for his own good against somebody like against Sung Ho Choi. And yeah, I mean, I don't really say about somebody. Somebody you should look out for a prospect, and I think. One thing I took interest in was that his English. His English is already, I think, pretty decent. And he's going to continue to learn and try to improve on it a little bit more, which I think that speaks volume to the dedication he's trying to make and trying to cross over in America and trying to get more of a fan base. I think with his style, his look, his performances, and his I think his English is already pretty good. He improves on it a little bit more. I think he's going to find himself more in the media, and I can't wait to see what the UFC does with him next. I think he's a good prospect in the featherweight division. And the other fight, Bruno Silva beat Wellington Turner off the ground or ground and pound. Wellington Turner was on his back. I thought Wellington Turner looked good early on. Wellington Turner, I forgot what the sequence was, but Wellington Turner found himself on his back, and then from the top or from full guard, Bruno Silva was able to land some bombs. It was able to knock out Wellington Turner. So it was a good performance for Bruno Silva. And Matt Brown turns back the clock. Matt Brown turns out the clock and beat Diego Lima. Who Diego Lima has I would say he has tough luck within the UFC. Never really feel like he can ever get his get momentum. And we know he's talented, but it's like he never gets the momentum to win one and then win one and then win one and then move on. So he's always one win, one loss, one win, one loss, or two losses, and then eventually gets a win. So it was unfortunate, but Matt Brown turned back the clock at 40 years old, is still doing a damn thing, has knockout power, seems like, he's displaying it. So, and it seems like he still has that fire inside him. So we'll see what we match up Matt Brown with next. Maybe you do, well, no, we did Carlos Condit, but maybe you do Matt Brown versus a Matt Brown versus Mike Perry. I don't think we've ever seen that. That'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting fight. Matt Brown versus Mike Perry. That could be a co-main event on any fight night card. I think that would do really well. So yeah, Matt Brown versus Mike Perry. If that fight has never been done, I'll see here for 1 second. I don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen. Let's see. This is one of the advantages of being able to do this solos. I could look things up. What's happening? I hope you guys are having a nice day. Right now it's Sunday on Father's Day, so I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Even if it's past Father's Day, you watching this on Monday or whatever, I hope you guys enjoying yourself. Hope you're having a great day. Yeah, so Matt Brown has never fought Mike Perry, which that would be a great fight. That would be a great fight. That'll be an entertaining fight. Do Mike Brown versus Matt Brown versus Mike Perry next. I think that'd be a really entertaining fight, and that could be, a big featured fight on a fight night card. So that's definitely a good fight to come with. Yeah, I thought overall, this card was a solid for a fight night card. It was a ton of fun. It flew by. There were finishes, and almost besides the co-main event and the main event. Yeah, in the Cheetah Vera fight, there were no finishes, but I thought the finishes on this card itself were really good. I thought performances were really, really good overall. I thought the Marlon Vera fight versus David Grant was awesome. Olenek, Olenek fight. The main event was technical, solid, good. It was good to see Chan Sung Jung mix things up. Dan Ige was still in there, still tough, and showed he's still a problem in the featherweight division. A lot of good prospects. Yeah, I'll give this card an A-. It can't be an A. It can't be an A+. But it's a solid A- card. This is a fun fight night card, which if you have time in your day, if you have if you're able to, do work and watch TV, or if you want to just throw something on, watch some good fights, definitely pull up this card, man. This card, honestly, it was a sneaky good card. I had no expectations going into this. And yeah, this card really delivered, and it was a ton of fun. So definitely go back and watch this card if you can. For the Marlon Vera and David Grant fight alone, I think this card delivered for a fight night card. So good for them. And lastly, before we get out of here, and see me a little discongested. Sorry, guys. Let me just drink this real quick. It's a little bit of medicine. All right. Lastly, so UFC went off at 11 o'clock. I want to say no, it was 9. Well, 9-ish, 10 o'clock maybe. And then I was reminded. Oh yeah, the Innocent Silva thing. Let me go check that out and do this and that. And I watched the Innocent Silva fight. I watched the Cesar Chavez Hector Camacho Jr. Pay-per-view yesterday. I mean, what do you want to say? Some good fights on there. I thought the commentary was interesting, to say the least. Especially the knowledge of Innocent Silva. I thought production looked okay. But yeah, I think it was a great event that delivered on the spectacle, that delivered on the entertainment value, that delivered on showcasing the legend that is Julio Cesar Chavez, and trying to set up Julio Cesar Chavez's sons, which we'll talk about in a second. But Anderson Silva goes in there, and I remember Anderson Silva at maybe during his middleweight reign. I was just getting into MMA. I remember him talking about fighting Roy Jones Jr. and wants to cross over to boxing and how it'll be a spectacle. And Anderson Silva was talking about this way before a Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, way before the Paul brothers. Like Anderson Silva been talking about crossover boxing for a very long time. So it was for that alone, it was great to see Anderson Silva out of the UFC finally able to do what he wanted to do for so long. And Anderson Silva, man, he turned back the clock. Like, he turned back the clock and was able to beat a former WBC boxing champion in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And not only did he beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., former WBC boxing champion, he beat him in Mexico on your father's pay-per-view, basically. And he was able to go out there and dominate for 8 rounds. The fight was a split decision win for Innocent Silva because one judge had to give for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I thought in the fight Julio Cesar Chavez maybe didn't think this through or think about the challenge that was ahead of him. I thought Innocent Silva was ready, game planned. He knew what he was doing. He would. There was moments in the fight where he showboated a little bit of flashes of old Innocent Silva. You see that vid going viral now, just him in the corner, and I thought the commentary was interesting. The commentary was saying oohs and ahs for everything that was missing. I thought for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Trying to create intrigue and saying that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was doing something in this fight. And Innocent Silva's just on against the corner in the corner, like he was against, I believe, Stephen Bonner, where he's waving him to come to him. He's telling him to come here, and he's just shoulder rolling. Chavez will probably land one or two of that exchange, but he's just having fun and just being old Innocent Silva, which is something you want to see. I thought he looked good. I thought his footwork looked good. He used his range well. He had the IQ of, hey, I'm not gonna just stand here and trade with you. He had him when he had Julio Cesar Chavez against the ropes. He would land a couple of shots, stuff like that, and then he would back up and reset at the front at the center of the ring. He invested in the body. He had a great uppercut as well. And I think the main thing of this fight was he was able to get inside the head of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And I think the pressure mounted up on Julio Cesar Chavez. And while Innocent Silva is just getting in there, having fun, being loose, being free, and just touching up, that's just multiple shots at once, just uppercut, jab, like it was unbelievable to see. And I think the pressure of being on his father's pay-per-view, of being in Mexico, I think it took being you're supposed to come in here and beat this guy who was your elder, and Innocent is 46 and Julio Cesar Chavez is maybe 34, 32. So the expectation was you're going to come in there and win, and you get dominated for 8 rounds, and you look gassed by towards the 8th round. So it was definitely not a great performance from Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Not a great showing. And some said this may be the most embarrassing loss of his career. But Innocent Silva, man, I'm so happy for him, and I was watching it. I was just looking back at old Innocent Silva moments on Twitter and just looking at his fight week and how he was leading up to this fight, and he seemed so happy and joyous and embracing this new chapter in his life, and he looks content, and I was thrilled to see it. I wonder what he does next. He looked really good. He's definitely got more shine now than he did for his last UFC fight. Maybe you finally do Roy Jones Jr. versus Anderson Silva, which I would watch. I would watch that any day of the week. And yeah, I would love to see where he goes from here. It's definitely still making big money, and it's definitely still a draw, I think, past his UFC days. So, and to see where he goes from here. But yeah, what else can you say? Anderson Silva beats Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. decisively. Was not a split decision. He definitely whooped his ass for 8 rounds, and then danced on a little bit, and then played with him a little bit, and then proceeded to whoop his ass again. So I thought more I could say about that. I would love to see Anderson Silva maybe fight a Roy Jones Jr. or maybe Anderson Silva can. No, because Mike Tyson's a heavyweight, so that wouldn't work. Mike Tyson will be a heavyweight, it'd be bigger. But maybe you could do a catch weight between Innocent Silva versus Mike Tyson. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this card. I thoroughly enjoyed the card. In the main event, dude, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. at close to damn near 60 years old, put on a fucking great show and kind of almost embarrassed his son in a way, because he was able to show more fire at 60 years old than Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. did at, I think, 32 or 34 against Innocent Silva. I think yesterday was a night of just legends in this sport. Korean Zombie, Innocent Silva, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. Okay, who else? Matt Brown. Just people, elder statements in the combat sports game, and whether in boxing and MMA, were able to come out, show up, and still show the same fire that they did when they were in their prime, against other younger talent. Or not in Hector Camacho Jr. case. Well, he's younger than Julio Chavez Sr., but was able to just show that fire and just show why we adore them and watch them for all these years. If you're watching, thank you. I appreciate you. Definitely share, subscribe, and like if you haven't done so already. And tell me what you think about the events of last night. But yeah, man, it was just a great night of legends yesterday, and it's interesting to see where Innocent Silva goes from here. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. had the night of his life. It seemed like I think he may have thrown like 100 or so punches in a 6-round fight against Hector Camacho Jr. Going to the body, I think it was one point he took. There was one point I think the 5th round, end of the 5th round, he took his helmet off and was like, "All right, we're going to do this now. I'm gonna fight you at 60 years old without a helmet, and I'm gonna beat your ass." And he probably could have. He probably could have. He was jacked up that night last night, and he looked like he was having the time of his life. After the fight, had a mariachi band come in the ring and celebrate. Had Canelo Alvarez there, and pretty much crowned Canelo Alvarez the new king of boxing from Mexico. It was a great night, man. That co-main event and then the main event of Julio Cesar Chavez versus Hector Camacho. It was worth the price of admission. And honestly, I want to see what they do more. I want to see what else they do. They wanted to have Nick. Supposedly, I believe it was Ariel Helwani that reported this. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I believe Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz were in talks to do this event. So Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz were in talks to do this tribute to the Kings thing with Innocent Silva and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And I believe the UFC shot it down. The UFC shot it down, and we got what we got with Nate, and we'll see what they're gonna do with Nick. But the UFC shot that down, which I mean, hell, I want to see Nate and Nick Diaz in the UFC. I mean, in boxing, making money there. So hopefully we see that too. But man, well done. Well, let's see more. Innocent Silva looked great. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. embarrassed his son a little bit by looking how great he did, and I that card, those two main events, so the co-main event and main event alone, I give it a solid A. So good for them. And again, we're getting more spectacles in boxing. We're getting more variety in boxing, but it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because you're getting people that may have not been adored at their prime or at their time, now being adored more and getting that's getting celebrated. And you're getting UFC fighters, or you're getting people that maybe haven't cashed in on their name enough, now being able to cash in on their name just a little bit more and speak up just a little bit more money towards the end of their career or their fighting life, and able to be able to help them along retirement with their families, with everyday expenses. So for Innocent Silva to make $100,000 just off of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. missing weight, and then who knows how much he got off fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He just gets bigger. I think the purse just gets bigger for him, and he may make more money outside the UFC, outside of the UFC. I mean, out in boxing than he did in the UFC, which is crazy. Think how long he's been in the UFC. He may just make in one fight make more money than he ever did in the UFC. If he fights a Roy Jones Jr., let's say on Showtime or for Triller, or a Mike Tyson or whatever. So good for Anderson Silva. Good for boxing. I like this kind of shit. So we'll see what happens next. But that is all for today. I give the UFC Vegas 29 a solid B, solid A-, and this Julio Cesar Chavez card. It was entertaining. Commentary was not great, but the co-main event, the main event delivered on everything I was hoping for. So that was an A. So we'll be back. I'll be back next Sunday to discuss Gane versus Volkov, and I'll be back on Saturday to discuss Bellator that Friday. So from that Friday. So we'll definitely keep the content going. So signing off. My name is Tyriece Simon. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, evening, night, and I'll see you guys later.